From Variety, celebrating more than 118 years covering the business of entertainment, this is the Award Circuit Podcast.
10 wonderful films were nominated, but only one will take the award for Best Picture. And I have to go to the envelope for that, and I will. Here it comes. And my eyes see Oppenheimer.
I'm Michael Schneider, and on this special edition of the award-winning Variety Award Circuit Podcast, we recap this year's 96th Academy Awards. The highs, the lows, the trivia, and so much more behind this year's Oscars. It's all next on this edition of the Variety Award Circuit Podcast. Stay close. And here we are. Oscars are over. Oppenheimer wasn't quite the sweep, but it still did quite well. There were plenty of surprises. There's a lot to discuss, so let's get into it. Clayton Davis is awake, which I'm impressed with. He just spent 24 hours with Davine Joy Randolph. We got Jenelle Riley. We got Jazz Tangcay. Jazz, I didn't win the office pool this year. I was really off. This is the last time I listened to Clayton fucking Davis.
Oh my gosh, we were all so off. Guess who? Katie Adler.
No, I did well. I did really well in the main categories. It was those damn shorts that messed me up.
Oh, the shorts are always going to mess you up. And by the way, as I put in the column after, I was 23 for 23 right after the BAFTAs.
Nope, doesn't count.
And then I changed it all completely. So just
sorry. I do one smug thing.
Yeah.
Told you Emma Stone.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, that's fine. Like actually, you know what? And I had said this to a few people. I don't think I said it on the podcast. You know, I wrote the day before the SAG Awards. I was like, I wrote this column about I switched my prediction to from Lily Gladstone to Emma Stone because I was like, Emma just got it, and then she won the SAG Award.
Lily won.
I was saying to a buddy,
yeah.
Lily won the SAG Award, and I was telling people, I was like, this is gonna trick all of us into switching, and I still knew in my heart of hearts, I was like, Lily's not gonna do it, and then I think there was a.
Well, it's never smart to bet against SAG, so you weren't.
I mean,
wrong.
Listen, I still think it was really close, but I think when you look at the two. It just, we'll have some digestive thoughts about that later in the episode. But yes, I was correct at one point in the season. You could be right at certain times,
Well,
and then
let's give props to Katie Adler, who got 20 out of 23
Yes.
correct.
In our marketing department, correct?
Yeah.
I tracked her down yesterday to ask how she knew, and she was so blasé about it.
She was like, I don't listen to Clayton Davis.
well, actually, in a little bit of fairness, though, to say, the ones I got wrong, I don't know if this was it for you guys too. The ones I got wrong were the number 2 in my categories.
Yeah.
There was no jaw-dropping surprise, which that was surprising.
Yeah. The lack of surprise was the surprise. Yeah.
Because if it's not that, it's that.
I mean, shout out to Poor Things. That was Jazz's tiebreaker question. How many is Poor Things going to get? I put 1. It got 4. It did quite well on Sunday night.
I had to do that as the tiebreaker because I was like, Oppenheimer's so obvious. It's like most people are going to go, 7 or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, let's just go for Poor Things because of Clayton's, what we discussed on the podcast last week. Yeah. Does it go 0? How many does it get? When it won makeup, that's when I knew that Lily was going to lose.
Yeah.
That's when I felt that pit.
Yeah.
Well, you know what really messed me up was the screenplays. I got both of them wrong because we didn't have the WGA awards yet.
Yeah. No, nor would I think. I don't think they would have helped either because I think Barbie's going to win WGA original, and that still wouldn't have helped out there. And then. Actually, I think Cord would have won WGA adapted, and then maybe that would have convinced. But some people were still doubting Cord, which I was. Yeah, I think that's completely fair because listen, cool ass choice that they don't make very often. It is a very specific choice for the Academy to make to give him adapted screenplay. And I thought,
and good for him, and good that they kind of spread the wealth in a lot of those categories. It was nice to see Anatomy of a Fall walk away with something.
I think 11 different movies won an Oscar. And I think that, one of the most in a while that like individual movies winning.
Yeah,
Academy
the
Awards. So that
Emmys
was,
need to learn something
insane.
from that,
Yeah.
spreading the wealth.
Yeah.
There is more on TV than Schitt's Creek, people.
Jenelle, you're living in like 2020.
I know.
Well, no, I just remember that show was
I
on
know.
for years.
Now
and
it's
I
the
didn't
Bear.
recognize it.
There's
And then
more than
one year,
NYPD
every
Blue.
single
Exactly. This year
category.
it'll be the Bear. All right, we love the Bear. Another Bear win.
Yeah.
But adapted. So yeah, Cord. But then for original screenplay, I mean, listen, we were all
Messy.
thinking holdovers, and in the end, after the blockbuster story that our own Tatiana Siegel did over the weekend, it kind of. We avoided an awkward moment at the Oscars.
Oh my God! Like, listen, I felt pretty good that it was Anatomy of a Fall, and if it wasn't, I actually thought it was gonna be Past Lives. But I was like, I sighed relief for holdovers. I was like in that category. I was like, because that just would have been a little awkward.
I think we all did, right? Like,
Yeah.
and even like as much as I wanted Paul to win too, I was like, yeah. But I'm glad people.
And let's keep in mind this is all still alleged,
Right,
you know,
and by the way, for people
just-
who don't know what we're talking about, we should sort of keep them up to date. Go to Variety.com to see the story where there are allegations, and it's pretty well documented. I don't know where I stand yet on it. I could go either way, but at least this was enough to cause some real conversation inside the WGA on whether or not the screenplay to the holdovers was a bit of a ripoff of a previously written screenplay. I don't know. Jenelle, you seem to have some doubts.
I did coverage on the Frisco screenplay 10 years ago. I remembered it and went and looked it up and found my coverage. My personal opinion, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an arbitrator. This case will be thrown out. There's no resemblance between the two scripts. The Frisco script is about a doctor who takes a 15-year-old girl on a road trip to lose her virginity. And if you want to cherry pick points of things that could be familiar, I would just say that that's good screenwriting.
Or that can be in any. By the way, this I was telling someone this happens every season. I mean, literally, it was actually very poignant that today Asghar Farhadi's plagiarism claim for a hero that was 2020 just got dismissed. So this does happen more often than people know. It was just the timing of it that everyone was like, so voting's done. So,
but isn't that kind of the WGA's fault because they didn't really act on it for a long time, or maybe they didn't act on it?
I think the first.
There was a case.
I think the date of the first email is January 2nd. I think when when the writer had emailed the WGA. But again, we don't know enough. I don't know enough about it from a legal standpoint. But I'm just this does happen a lot, and I'm not taking a stance on it. I don't I think a lot of stories tend to sound alike because life is life.
Right. Life has its beats.
And I do believe that people who enter into these, they take it very seriously and they truly believe it.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone is out there just throwing these accusations around. And maybe there are some coincidences.
I mean, there are
I just
Saltburn
challenge anyone to read the script.
Yeah, I was going to say Saltburn could say it's Townsend Mr. Ripley in a way, right? But it's not, even though it does feel a lot like that. So there are just some things there, but nonetheless.
Right.
Lost
well,
anyway,
and that's the good news is that this all came out after voting, so there's not going to have to be a debate over did that impact it, losing, etc. So we could kind of just move on with our lives now.
But can I also just say, 2 days before this came out, I moderated the Better Words panel at the WGA for the nominees, and hands down, my favorite panel that I've moderated all film award season, mostly because Eric Roth, the writer of Killers of the Flower Moon, should do stand-up comedy. That man.
Because Killers of the Flower Moon is a hoot, so you can see
it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But he is a mensch. I had never met him before, so it was the first time. So I'm sitting there, this is the guy who wrote my second favorite movie of all time, Forrest Gump, and a bunch of other great things. And I started off was what I really want to ask you is how can I be like you when I grow up? And he was like, well, your wife can die. You can have kids out of wedlock. You can get divorced 3 times. You can do a lot of drugs, drink a lot. It was
get started, Clayton.
Incredible. I was like, note. I am on it, sir. Thank you.
Can we watch that video?
So-
Can we-
Does that get uploaded? Because it was a variety.
Yes, it's getting uploaded by WG, I think, later today.
All right,
actually,
we can
so
go
you
watch
see
it.
Hopefully they don't cut that part out. So
Can we talk about the other mini controversy?
Sure.
I just want to address real quick that apparently the Origin filmmakers were not invited to the Neon Party.
It's getting awkward. Like, you,
And as of today, Origin's Twitter account is gone.
yeah. You ever like at someone's house and like, you know, you're not great friends with either of them, with the husband and wife, and they start arguing in front of everyone. And you're like, I just want to die.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
it's like a living embodiment of the dinner party episode of The Office. Like, you're just sitting there and you're like, I need to like remove. It was so awkward to see the tweet and then see it taken down. Everything about this is just like a lot.
Right.
Yeah. But to Mike's original point about Oppenheimer not quite sweeping, again, we have to define what does the sweep mean. And I mean, I still think it did really well. 7 Oscars is not
including
like,
Best Picture,
Yeah.
it
like-
did fine.
Especially in today's age.
and 2 acting
and Chris
awards.
Nolan,
Like, it did.
yeah.
It was a really good night for Oppenheimer. I will say, it losing sound to Zone of Interest is Zone of Interest being the fact that they chose that. I think is remarkable because they don't do stuff like that.
Yeah, you're right. It just, to me, it seemed like the obvious choice, but then you're right. It is surprising.
I think it's the first non-English language movie to ever win sound, like ever.
Wow.
Now my heart broke for Willie Burton, production sound mixer of Oppenheimer, who would have been the most awarded black person in history. It would have been his 3rd Oscar. So that sucked. But it was Johnny Byrne is an Oscar winner now, and I love that dude. It's very deserved win.
I love his.
I mean, that movie is all about the soundscape, too,
Yeah.
so I get it.
I loved his tweet this morning. He couldn't get onto. He was meant to go to Fox and he forgot his ID, but he had his Oscar and was like, "This is ID." It's brilliant. It's such a great tweet.
Did it work?
Worked.
Oh.
It's like it's.
Oh.
it's,
I'm going to get me a fake
Yeah,
Oscar.
that's
Just
dangerous.
walk around town with your Oscar. You
There
get
it
into
is.
everything. That's
I know.
That's a
Yeah.
great
Everywhere.
flex, Johnny. But
Can we also just speak for the internet? Christopher Nolan's an Oscar winner now. We can all shut up about it. Like, I mean, the internet.
Nope.
The internet.
He needs more.
Like, he wins another one.
I was happy for
But,
Jennifer Lame, editor.
Yeah, the
of
editor. Yes.
Oppenheimer. She was like the first woman since 2017 to win. I think it's been like 6 years or something, but
Yeah.
and she just gave the best speeches.
Yeah, and Nolan gave a really good speech. He got like a little emotional at the end. I think he was like really touched by it. I think it was a really good moment. In terms of the 4 acting winners, though, Cillian Murphy, Emma Stone, Robert Downey Jr., and Davine Joy Randolph. I think the speech of the night for me was Davine Joy Randolph. I cried. Like when Lupita
I cried when Lupita was introducing her.
for her.
Yeah.
Because, by the way, had no idea about the glasses thing. And then I saw some focus features about it. They were like, we said that this season. I was like, no, you didn't. I never heard that story. And it was, I bawled like a baby. And then seeing her cry and then her winning was just great. And she had no cards with her. And it was great. And then she almost didn't get into the Oscars. So this was the big controversy.
Yes, I heard about this.
There were big protests outside the Academy. And traffic was in a gridlock and stopped for about an hour. So the Academy started sending golf carts to go pick people up. So I asked Dave, and I was like, so did you get in a golf cart? And she went, I'm from Philly. I ain't getting on that thing. Are you crazy? So she didn't get on. And she just waited, and then she was able to actually get inside. Because supporting actress was first, and the Oscars started 5 minutes late. For that reason. They needed her to get inside. Because that would have been
A lot
awful.
of people walked. Like Eva Longoria just posted a video of her walking up to.
Yeah. She got in late. Well, she got. Cause I was still on the red carpet when she got it. Because I did an interview with her for ABC, but she got there later than expected. A bunch of people. I'm telling you, it was Octavia Spencer was next to Davine. They were like talking to each other through the windows. It was.
Oh, that's the funny thing. When you're on that stretch of Highland, sometimes you just look out the window. I remember the year I went, I looked out the window and I just saw Michael Fassbender sitting in the car, just looking like he was saving all his energy.
It was like that for the
You're
Grammys.
there a long
though.
time.
Grammys were like that this year. I didn't move for like a good 40 minutes.
It was the same thing. There was a protest there too, which is why. But
and it rained.
yeah, at least it didn't rain on Oscar day. But
No, it's beautiful.
yeah, I mean, in hindsight, the fact that the Oscars were only 5 minutes late is pretty impressive because,
I was wondering what was going on.
And
I
ended
was like,
on
they
time.
never start
Yes.
late.
it was early,
Ended
as a matter
on
of
time.
fact. So you can read my story at Variety.com, the inside scoop on everything that went on. Thank you.
Very
But,
good story.
Yeah, the fact that Kimmel suddenly was vamping at the end. He's like, I got a minute to spare, so I'm going to read you this Donald Trump tweet. Which it's funny enough, his wife Molly, who's the executive producer, was like, "Don't read the tweet," but he was like, "I gotta read the tweet." And
Well, there's
could- you know,
but they were also gifted that time because two winners weren't there. and
right,
those were two
right.
speeches
That sped
that
things
weren't
up
had.
too. But yeah, it was actually impressive how the show kind of ran at a pretty fast clip, even though they did do those nominee introductions like you mentioned. They're calling them the Fab Five, and when they did it for supporting actress, yes, it was emotional. But I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, this show is this is going to go over like by an hour because of all of these speeches. It's speech on top of speech on top of speech. Thankfully, it worked out fine. It's only 4 categories that they did that in, but yeah.
They should do it for best sound mixing,
Costume.
for
Yeah.
every single category.
Then you'll have a longer show if that happens.
Then it's an
so.
8-hour show.
Can I say though, I did miss clips.
Yeah.
I miss clips. I always want clips, but also just to say, so going to the Fab Five setup, as always, the women did their homework. Theirs was incredible.
Yep.
It made sense on every front. Even Mary Steenburgen talking for Emily Blunt, which, by the way, at first I was like, why is this happening? But it felt heartfelt. It felt like they knew each other. Obviously, they said they were friends. The guys was a little too random for me, and especially supporting actor, except for Sam Rockwell speaking for RDJ, I was kind of like, all right, Ki Kwan for Sterling K. Brown, okay. You already get locked into the previous winner speaking for that, but then Tim Robbins speaking for Robert De Niro, I was kind of like, I don't really see that connection unless like just 90s guys,
aging actors.
Aging, yeah. And by the way,
Well, all actors are aging.
and by the way,
actors.
supporting actress was the only one of the Fab Five that actually spanned 5 decades of winners. No, actress I think was. No, I'm sorry.
Thanks, Rita Moreno.
Thanks, Rita Moreno. Thank you, Sally Field. It made sense. It felt good. I think you need to go out a little more.
The best ones
for
too
that.
are the ones that have plenty of like humor and personal humor. I mean, there's some who just it felt like they were just reading from their bios or from their press kits. Others where it felt really emotional. So.
One year when they did this, I remember, I'm not going to say who, but a certain past winner, you could tell they had never met the person they were introducing in their life. And I think they actually said something like, if you Google this person, or something like that. And I was like,
they Googled this person.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I mean, even bringing back Ben Kingsley, which I love to see Ben Kingsley, but Ben speaking for Cillian Murphy, you were kind of like, guess because you're both from Europe?
International, yeah.
Like, what was that matchup? Yeah.
Yeah, it just.
I mean, sometimes you just see it's who you're able to get, and it doesn't always.
Yeah,
it's who was available and said yes.
Nick Cage,
Nick
though,
Cage
for Paul
was great.
Giamatti.
That was great.
Was
struggle
so
to
that
say.
was
good.
great.
I would.
And I knew they knew each other, so I was like, yeah, they just haven't done a movie together, which it was shocking because they both
Considering how much they're baking.
they both have
degrees,
done like
which we
97,000
see,
movies.
Did you see Paul's In and Out cufflinks?
Yes, I did.
That was very cute.
Brilliant.
In and Out doesn't want to make money. Like if they're not giving him an endorsement.
Why
deal.
have they not? Yeah,
They just don't wanna
It's
make
like, come
money.
on. Follow Del Taco's lead after the Saturday Night Live Adam Driver sketch, and get on that.
Cillian Murphy, I think when he won, a very heartfelt speech. RDJ, I'm sorry, I have to say, his worst speech of the season, but I think he was just all speeched out by then. I think he gave some of his best stuff with Globe, SAG, Critics' Choice, and by this point, I just it's hard to give speech after speech after speech and then have a big one at the Oscar that makes it feel heartfelt. Davine obviously was able to do that and do a build, but RDJ, I thought his was rough. Emma Stone, and I have to be clear about this, I thought she gave the best speech considering the circumstances, and if you watch the moment where she wins, I actually feel terrible for her because one is because she really didn't think she was going to win. I think we were all predicting Lily Gladstone, the punditry.
No, we weren't.
She
the
really
the
did not
punditry
expect to
community at
win. Though.
large.
She said it
She
on
really
the
thought
carpet.
she thought she didn't think she was going to win. And when they said her name, there was joy in that, but that was a fear of being petrified. She thought, "Oh my God, I'm gonna get so much shit for winning right now." And I thought she did so well in giving Lily her proper flowers in that speech, and then even laying the groundwork for I hope we do this more together for years to come. Saying Academy, make sure you invite Lily back for this. And I have said on the record, and a lot of Academy members have said this to me too. I think Lily was just in the wrong category.
Yeah. You've said
I think
that
she's
a lot.
I think she's a leading lady, and I get what it means for the career to be perceived as a leading lady. So in that, if you're playing the long game, then I get it. But for winning purposes and what I believe to be purity of a lead versus supporting, and the way Killers is told, I think she's a supporting performance, as does a lot of Academy members. And I think that was the deciding factor for many.
Do you think she would have won in supporting?
I think if we had started to see, if you go back to the Cannes coverage, everyone was saying she was supporting until she.
Yeah, but that was before they saw
Divine. Well, no, it was until Variety revealed exclusively that she was switching to lead. I think if she's supporting this whole season, I think Lily wins in a walk. I think it would.
Wow.
The same.
I don't know.
The same way I think Michelle Williams. No way Jamie Lee Curtis beats Michelle Williams for Everything Everywhere last year. No way.
I think you're right about that one. I don't know if you're right about this one.
And maybe not. We'll never know for sure.
I think.
Yeah, but I think that
well,
was a factor.
I peeked into the alternate universe. Okay.
You asked Benedict
Stephanie
Cumberbatch.
Shue won.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting. I mean, there's so many things you obviously wrote the article about it, and seeing the people say, well, Anthony Hopkins had, people open up that can of worms.
Not everything is the same.
Yeah. But I mean,
By the way, I honestly think Emma Stone was just more petrified about having to get up there and give a speech because she hadn't prepared one.
I think it was obviously it was an avalanche of emotion. I saw fear in her eye. I think when she gets right before she gets to her husband, I think she mouths to him okay, she was I think she was trying to work through it, and listen, and I know what Lily's win would have represented, and that's why I wanted her to win in this category. I think she's an all-timer performance for me as a supporting actress performance. When you get to lead, you do look at things a little different. I'm glad that she has her next few projects lined up, and I hope she's back for Fancy Dance and the Charlie Kaufman movie and all that stuff. I want her working for years to come. She should have won her first Oscar for Certain Women 8 years ago. So that's just part of Oscar season, but I felt in that moment for everyone, and then Killers just went home empty-handed. Third Scorsese movie to go 0 for 10.
that's crazy.
He hasn't won his movies have not won an Oscar since Hugo.
That's a crazy.
Wow, Hugo.
That is wild.
That's a blast from the
it was
past.
not a great night for the streamers.
Yeah, 1 Oscar for the streamers in total. Studios flexed, good for them. And then looking ahead, by the way, by the time you're listening to this year in advance, Blind Predictions will be up. It's going to be a studio season also this year. I mean, studios have a lot of good stuff that I'm excited about. I think.
Dune 2. We can already start predicting for 2025.
Does
Have you seen it yet, Mike?
Dune 2.
Does Denis get the nomination for Dune 2?
I will be very upset if he does not.
He has to.
And then just one thing I want to note from the winners: Boy and the Heron beating Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
I got that one
Never
wrong.
underestimate Miyazaki.
Everyone did. Everyone did. I think what's shocking about it is that Miyazaki and Suzuki didn't show up to one award show all season long. And I was speaking to someone from the animation community that was at the Oscars. Actually, I'll even go further. I was speaking to someone that was a nominee in the category. And they had said, I wish I had lost to Spider-Man, because at least I know those guys would have went up and said something for the animation community. I think we took a step back today because there's no one there to advocate for us or say anything because Miyazaki doesn't do this stuff. I see that point.
Why doesn't he even have a rep?
But
like someone representing the film.
I don't think he does. I don't think he specifically has a rep. The awards team was repping G Kids. That was pushing the G Kids pushed the movie.
Well, so why don't they have a G Kids exec then show up? Like,
are they allowed to have somebody else?
Sorry, they did have a Studio Ghibli rep though at the press room.
Yeah, but
they might not be allowed to send someone else.
No, you can't send someone else up. That's
you can't have someone accepting on behalf.
No, because actually at SCAD, because I wanted to do Boy and the Heron part of our roundtable, we needed a director, so they ended up sending the president of G Kids that came to do a separate panel at SCAD for it. He just doesn't do. And by the way, he also kudos to the campaign team, man. They convinced the world this was his last movie, and it isn't. He's working on one right now. He's been working on one this whole time. So
I think there's a push for people to vote for a narrative in some ways in a lot of these things, and I think people just voted purely. You know, they were like they voted for what they wanted.
Yeah, and it's a good movie, by the way. It's in my top 10 of the year. So was Spider-Man. So
is Robot Dreams?
Yes, number 5.
Okay, so after Clayton kept telling me to watch Robot Dreams, and I wasn't sure I could because a dog will be sad in it. It is so beautiful.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah.
It's this year's Marcel the Shell. It just brings joy.
I was really like kind of look. I love Spider-Verse. It was in my top 10 as well. You know, can't argue with Boy and the Heron, but there was a part of me that was like, God, it would be such a great.
There was a very large round of applause for Robot Dreams in that room. That I was like,
I noticed that too.
I was
on TV, you could hear it.
Yeah, for sure.
You had a what if moment.
I think people people just discovered it. They were like, oh, there's this movie that's
the thing.
really
if it because it's not coming out until June. If it had actually been out here and done the rounds, but I actually did a Q&A with it about a week ago, which was weird because it obviously wasn't an Oscars Q&A. It was just a Q&A to celebrate what a great movie it is. And like the response it was a public screening. Like, it was sold out. People bought tickets. People went crazy for it. It's so damn charming.
Watch it if you can.
And to round out.
Oh, and it won the screenplay Goya.
Oh yeah, it did. Yes, I
screenplay.
did see that. That was amazing.
A wordless animated film, and it beat Society of the Snow, which won everything else.
And the last thing I want to wrap up with is we live in a world now where Diane Warren is 0 for 15 and Bradley Cooper's 0 for 12.
Wow.
Do you think they're ever going to get it? Do you think it's going to happen for them?
Diane Warren
I think he
needs to she needs to go back, not necessarily to the power
Disney movie
ballad, but she needs to do a song and a film that people are watching and
the
talking
Best Picture winner.
about.
She needs to do an original song for Oppenheimer. Yeah.
Something along those lines. Otherwise, she's just going to be nominated over and over again.
Listen, this is my prediction. I want it to be because it's so meta. Literally today, as we speak, her documentary about her life is premiering at South by. And she wrote an original song for it. She's gonna win for that. She's gonna win an original song
for
the
her own
song
doc.
for the movie about her life.
Wow.
A doc about her life. It would be so meta.
Anything would be better than this one, which sounded like a jingle for Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
I love the fire. Actually, I think this is one of her better.
I like the song. Yeah.
I really like the song. It is one of her better songs of her last few years. She's been nominated 7 years in a row, and I think this is the best of that lot.
Well, that's the thing. Also, stop nominating her unless she really has a chance.
Well, that's. I was like, if you're gonna do it. Like at this point, it's like, come on, man.
But she's always out. Here's the thing: she is always out campaigning. She goes to every event.
Well, she wants it, and good for her.
She makes she has no shame. Like, yes, I want to be nominated. I actually still want to win. I know I haven't.
She has a fire inside.
I knew it was coming.
Flaming hot.
Bradley
Mike,
Cooper. What is it going to take for him to win?
He's gonna win eventually.
He's at least it's like within the next 5 years.
Yeah, this is the next 5 years. Yeah. Mike.
So let's put Bradley Cooper, Glenn Close, Amy Adams, Michelle Williams, and Diane Warren all in one category, and let them
fight it out. Best director. Yeah, let's do it. Mike, how much would I have to pay you to perform in I'm Just Ken at the Oscars?
Oh, I'd do it for free.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, come on.
So
why is that a threat? That would be amazing.
So Clayton, what was that like in the room? I mean, it was fantastic at home.
I'm not even joking. I think that's the best musical performance at the Oscars since Eminem surprised and showed up for Lose Yourself.
I'd go with Selma.
I mean, that was good too, but they came with a Chris Pine tier, and that will always stay engraved in my memory.
This is an all-timer top 10. Like, it's top 10, top 5.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I was standing on I got to the first floor, so I was on the first floor when John Mulaney was up there, and then all the Kens were lining up, and I went, oh my God, it's about to happen. And it was just, and then Slash.
Yeah. I mean, everything. The choreography. Gosling, like, he hit the notes. I mean, he sounded great. The whole just, like, the choreograph of him going down to, to Greta and to Margot. And
Margot.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Yes.
Margot can't make eye contact with him. Anytime she looks at him,
Could you?
Like, I know. Like,
She was
she's
laughing
she's
so
like,
hard.
I can't.
It was so good it broke Emma Stone's dress.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And by the way, here in his new movie, The Fall Guy is incredible.
Yeah, here it's
I can
really
tell
really
you
fun.
it is because I saw it last night. Boom! I saw a movie before you guys.
Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
God! 24
I
hours
saw
before we do.
You guys.
Oh my goodness.
And you loved it?
Got.
Is it an Oscar contender?
I mean, it's not the kind of movie that it's a Globes contender. I mean, it should win comedy because it is hysterical, but also just so much fun.
Worst cinematic and box office
Stunts.
achievement.
The stunts are like, it lives up to being a movie about the Fall Guy. It's amazing. Yeah.
Can we all just collectively say we feel duped that, aside from Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt having the greatest bit of presenters at the Oscars, don't you feel duped that they were about to announce we have a stunt Oscar and they did not?
Yeah.
I was sitting there, I was like, oh my God, it's about to happen. And then they were like, okay, thanks,
funny,
bye.
in The Fall Guy, they make a big deal about that. They make a reference about the fact that there's no Oscar for stunts. So it is a true love letter to stunts, to Hollywood. But it's a rom-com. It's got the action. It's got a dog, Jenelle. The dog
is
is okay.
Tell me now.
The dog is a hero, as a matter of fact. So, yeah.
Duh.
It's got it ticks all the boxes. So.
What kind of dog?
Oh, you're asking a
I
lot
know.
of specific questions now. A Pekingese.
I don't know. It's a
that was my dog growing up. It was a Pekingese. I love it.
Oh, it looks like an Australian Shepherd mix.
which would make sense because it takes
If
place
it's
in
the one
Australia. So.
Just going back to that performance really quickly, can I just say props to everybody that pulled that off? Because I think, we've got an article about it on how quickly that all came together. Like, people don't appreciate that they have 3 days or less to get into the Dolby.
Well, remember, Joe Coy only had, 2 weeks to prepare for his Golden Globes monologue. So this is proof if you can put that together in 3 days.
Yeah, although they were putting it together for a long time. I'm just can't. I mean, that's been in the works for months. So, speaking though of original song, I mean, Phineas and Billie Eilish were fantastic, I think we were all predicting that they were going to win, and the fact that they are so young and now both have 2 Oscars on their mantle.
Youngest 2-timers in history. Well, listen, Billy obviously impressive, and by the way, they still have like many of their 20s left because they're so young. I'm actually really impressed by Phineas being a 2-time because there were 3 women that won before the age of 30. No man has ever won before the age of 30. The youngest person to have 2 Oscars is Walt Disney.
Wow.
And now that's Phineas.
Go Phineas.
Beat Walt Disney's record.
That's incredible.
He's the new Walt Disney. That Phineas.
I mean, the fact that duo is still so young and there's still so much ahead. They may win 3 more Oscars. So.
Yeah, didn't she say something like, I probably won't get up here again? And I was like,
I was like, there's a Bond movie coming, man. They know what to do.
Yeah.
Maybe Denis Villeneuve. Who knows? That's the rumors. I like it. I hope that rumor is true.
Do we have a song from Dune?
Dune 2. Dune 2.
Spice, baby.
Yeah, it's really good,
There you
Janelle. That was a very dad joke, Janelle.
Wait, Josh Brolin
Spice, baby. That's really,
Josh
really
Brolin
well
sings
done.
I was
in
gonna
Dune
say-
too.
Doing it to me one more time.
Yeah, that's I like Janelle's.
Janelle wins the dad
you.
joke.
Janelle wins that joke.
No,
Janelle
wait,
is the
no.
new champion. So what else didn't we see inside the room, Clayton?
You didn't see Lily Gladstone weeping when Wajeje was being performed, and it was beautiful. I put that video up on my TikTok. She was standing and just so happy to see it happening. That was beautiful.
You better, by the way, put that video up on Instagram too, because I don't know if TikTok's going to be around much longer.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
Save it now.
That is true. Woo. And then what else? I saw so many people getting drunk after they lost their categories.
Yeah, names.
So, yeah, I see a lot of nominees. Like once their categories are up, they're like, okay, we're
Step up to the bar
now.
Good.
Yeah, it always depends on where. But then you see people so nervous, like all throughout the night, and like just. Can I just say, just a little bit of fashion? I thought America Ferrera looked incredible.
Loved it.
Stunning.
Didn't wear pink all season, and then she wore pink that night. I was like, you saved it. Well done. Very well done. I thought Carey Mulligan also looked wonderful. I loved her black dress. And then Coleman Domingo, whatever. Like, yeah, you look great, like always.
He's Coleman Domingo.
He's Coleman Domingo.
Right. He could wear a barrel.
But yeah, there were. But no, listen, and just reviews of the show. I thought it was a really good show, man.
Yeah.
Great show.
Yeah.
One
I
of
thought it
the
was a
best
really good show.
in recent years.
I thought it was a really good show.
I agree. And, the ratings were up, which is good. I think it was impacted by daylight saving time. It was impacted by the early start. And then the delay, which people tuned in at 7 o'clock Eastern and didn't see the Oscars. Maybe some of them did turn the channel. So all things considered, despite that heavy lift, they pulled it off.
But it works early.
I liked it. Yeah.
Time.
Ooh,
Now all we need is February.
I will add one more thing.
I was home from the party before midnight.
Yeah.
I know. I got home at like 10:30.
Oh, that's nice. I will say one more thing that you didn't see on screen is Emma Stone in the press room. By the time she got up there after winning her Oscar, her dress had been fixed. The magic of what happens backstage, and her being like, I completely blacked out down there, and she's like, my head's still spinning. That was
Also loved her dress too.
her dress was beautiful.
Great.
I
thought everyone looked like good. Everyone looked really good. It's good time. And Velvet, I didn't know Velvet was in. I was wearing Velvet and didn't realize everyone else was.
Well, Clayton, you are a fashion.
Fashion forward.
I need a stylist. I can't do this. Like this is hard, man. If a stylist is listening to the Award Circuit podcast, please reach out to me and dress me, because I can't do this anymore.
You looked
I rented
great.
for the first time. I rented this year for the first time in like a while.
You looked great.
Well, you had a big day, so
there.
I was gonna say, what time did you wake up?
I was there. I was on the carpet at 4:15 a.m. People were getting mugged still in Hollywood.
Well, to be fair, you were the one mugging them.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I took their money. And then the carpet started. It was a 5.5 hour show, but it was. But listen, like first world problems, right? Like it was great, and it was awesome. I swear, this is really the last thing to close this out, because I think this is important. A change I would like. Jonathan Glazer is not technically an Oscar winner now, guys, and we need to change that rule with international feature. It's really stupid. Mm-hmm. The country is the winner, and the director's name is on the Oscar, but they are not an Oscar winner, and I think that's silly.
Yeah,
we need to change that, because Rodrigo Prieto is going to make his directorial debut this year with
in a Mexican
Pedro
movie.
Páramo.
Yeah,
and if it wins, he will not have an Oscar. The country will have another
and that
Oscar.
will be terrible.
Yeah.
That's why Asghar Farhadi is not an Oscar winner. He's not a 2-time Oscar winner.
Wow.
He's only a nominee because he got nominated for original screenplay for Separation.
Crazy.
That's it.
We need to change that.
And then I wonder if you could
Campaign begins today.
Could you retroactively then award those Oscars?
They would never do such a thing. I mean, that would be the right thing to do, but there's no way they would do it.
One thing at a time. One thing at a time.
No way.
Yeah, Jazz and Janelle, how were your Oscar Sundays? What were the highlights for you two?
Mine was nice. It was pretty low key. And then I went to the Oppenheimer party, which was nice. It wasn't like, it was obviously very celebratory. When Hoyte showed up with his Oscar, everyone cheered and went crazy. Cillian Murphy showed up, and it just got swarmed. Yeah, it was fun.
I was in the press room with Katsy and Matt Donnelly, so we were backstage with all the Oscar winners as they come through. Again, it was it was a long day. It was a lot of fun being up there. You could feel the energy from, when I'm Just Ken, it just oozed up through that shopping mall that is the Ovation. People always forget it's a shopping mall.
Yes.
So
a glamorous shopping mall.
It is a glamorous shopping mall.
One of the greatest secrets of the Oscars is how at a mall.
But no, it was a lot of fun being in there. Again, it was like there was the excitement, the joy for Oppenheimer, and just seeing all the other wins. And then I was going to go to In-N-Out, which is a tradition that everybody does, but the lines was so long. I was like, no, forget it.
Right, they've made it too big
imagine.
now. It's too much of a tradition. You can't even get in. So
You can't get in on a regular day. The drive-through line is in the middle of the street. That's why I think In-N-Out isn't really that good. It ain't worth it. Shake Shack, man.
Shake Shack all the way.
Or Smash Burgers.
wow, shots fired. Shots fired.
I know.
What?
Please don't take away my deal.
Well, I was out here in Austin watching on the TV. So continuing with South by Southwest. So yeah, guys, I've been seeing movies. These things.
You have a nice looking hotel room. Speaking of,
Yeah, I'm fancy. That's me. But yeah, I also saw Monkey Man, Dev Patel's directorial debut. Yeah,
it good?
It is. If you like that kind of like smash, ultra.
Smash your face into a table
or toilet
movie.
in this case. Ultra violent. The kind of ultra violence that you kind of find yourself laughing. And there's moments where he has some gruesome kills, and the audience is cheering and like, oh wait, all right, I guess
It's his John Wick.
it is
Good for
very
him.
John Wick.
Good for him.
it's his Bond audition,
Yeah,
is what it is.
Go for it.
So it is a lot of fun. He said that he actually spent part of the time writing the movie, like at restaurants in Koreatown. He's definitely influenced by a lot of those Korean flicks as well. So that was a lot of fun. Saw Sydney Sweeney's film, the religious horror film, Immaculate.
Immaculate.
Did
you jump?
Was it immaculate?
It is jump scare. There's a lot of jump scares. There's kind of
Cannot wait.
some real gruesome moments as well.
Ooh, you're selling me on
Fall
this.
Guy was definitely the palate cleanser because that was just such a fun movie. So that's definitely one to keep your eyes out for. Oh, but most importantly, first 2 episodes of season 3 of Hacks. They stuck the landing. The show is back. First 2 episodes were fantastic.
Love that show.
And they really
Love
found
that
like
show.
a new path now. I won't give it away, but there's a whole new storyline for this season that I can't wait to see. So definitely that. So yeah, I mean, South by there was some good things. We did our Power of Comedy event, which I opened. Yes, I did 5 minutes of dad jokes. I swore more than I think I've ever done at a company event before.
I want to be like Mike Schneider when I grow up, man. Look at this guy.
That,
Can I ask a question about Hacks?
of course you can, Janelle.
Okay. Just first season was so incredible. Second season was great, but I felt like some of the characters I really loved kind of got sidelined a little bit just because there was a very specific storyline. Are a lot of those people back?
Yeah.
Like Carl Clemens Hopkins, do they have a lot to do this season? And I saw that Paul W. Downs was promoted to series regular, which makes me laugh because he's one of the show creators. So, but the character is so great. I wanted to see more of him.
I mean, it's only saw the first 2 episodes, so I can't tell you down the road if there's more. I mean, it's still ultimately about those 2 women at the core of this series. So, and that's what the show focuses on, at least, especially for those first 2 episodes, reestablishing what their relationship is now and how damaged it was at the end of season 2 when, basically, Deborah Vance fires Ava, and Ava clearly is still working through things when we see her at the start of season 3. So,
I love that show so much.
So yeah, so that's what else is looking forward to. Now I think you all can breathe,
Go to
collapse.
sleep.
Oh, so what? Real quick, let's talk about Clayton's cover story. So before, everyone else was celebrating at the Oscars, but Clayton was busy talking to Dave Vine, Joy Randolph. So how'd that go?
She went to bed at 5:45 and was at her shoot at 7 a.m. So she got like 70 minutes of sleep. And Davine was divine. She was just taking it all in, very grateful. The sweetest thing, when I went to go see her when she was getting ready, I was like, congratulations. She's like, thank you. And then she was like, do you know like how to like clean it a bit? Because like I feel like the plate is coming up a little bit because so many people were touching it. I was like, the Academy actually like has this whole service, like they'll take care of your ox, you can get it already dipped and all that stuff. I was like, she's like, are you sure they can do that? I'm like, yes. They like, this is like yours, and they make sure that it looks good forever. So feel free.
Don't you worry.
But it was
we'll
I think what Davine was trying to ask you, Clayton, nicely was how do I shine the head of the Oscar?
Yeah. Well, no. It was actually the nameplate that was really, because people were just, I guess, touching it and stuff. There's just smudges all over it, and you're not supposed to use like chemicals on it. So we were like using like eyeglass cloth, the cloth they use for glasses or whatever, like whatever they're called. And then we were using that, and we got most of it like off. But she was just like, it's her baby, and she holds it like a baby, and
as she should.
I think she was actually asking Clayton, "Can you polish this for me?"
Can you polish my Oscar?
She's like, Clayton, your head looks awfully nice and shiny. Can you do the same?
I was wearing a hat, so she didn't even know. I think one of the most jaw-dropping things was her surprise when I told her. I was like, you're the most awarded supporting actress in history, like leading up into the Oscars. You won the most precursors of any person that's ever, like, whatever. She was like, is that true? I'm like, yeah. I was like, you're also the 19th black woman to ever win an Oscar. And she was like, is that true? She's like, of any category? I'm like, yes, 19th. And there's been 3,300 Oscars given out in history. And then she was just like, I got the keys to the castle. Like, I'm not going to be the last. Like, she's just ready to take over Hollywood, as she should, because she is talented. And Only Murders retweeted the cover as well, so I'm ready for the next season. She says we started shooting. Everything's good. She said she hasn't seen scripts yet.
Oh, interesting. I know someone who's on that show, and they were saying this third season is going to be. Oh wait, sorry, fourth season, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What they've seen is amazing.
That's great. Yeah. Well, speaking of TV, that's what we're on to now. So we'll take a little bit of a break, and then we'll be back with the Award Circuit podcast at some point, talking all things television. But in the meantime, go read Clayton's story over at thevariety.com.
Thanks, guys.
And
I'll be gone to November.
And watch the video too.
Oh my God, her playing Smash or Pass, extraordinary.
That's great. Well, happy Oscars, everybody.
Happy Oscars.
Kids.
Enjoy South by, and we'll
Joe.
see you in a few weeks.
Bye-bye.
We did it.
God.
And that's it for this edition of Variety's Award Circuit Podcast. Michael Schneider is the producer. Be sure to subscribe to the Award Circuit Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you download podcasts. Also, head on over to Variety.com and click on the Award Circuit tab to find the latest awards predictions and key races, as well as your daily fix of news, analysis, and reviews. For Jazz Tangcay, Jenelle Riley, and Clayton Davis, I'm Michael Schneider. We're off for a few weeks, but we'll be back later this spring with all new episodes diving into the Emmy race. Until then, we'll see you on the circuit.